the regular meeting of the Southfield City Council, April 28th. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Council President. Councilwoman Banks.
Present.
Councilman Brightwell.
Here.
Councilman Cruz.
Present.
Councilwoman Haynes.
Present.
Council Pro Tem Hicks.
Here.
Councilwoman Hogue.
Here.
Council President Mandelbaum. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get into our agenda, I just want to make a couple housekeeping announcements for our audience as well as our council. There's a change to our agenda under presentations. The Southfield Housing Commission presentation will not be happening this evening, so that will not take place. Also, we have a public hearing this evening for the single lot special assessment roll hearing and confirmation. Many people may have received a letter about those. Those are if you fail to pay a ticket from code for litter, weed pickup, things like that. We have our city assessor as well as some city staff in the back of the room. Can you please raise your hand, Justin? If you have something you'd like to discuss prior to the public hearing and trying to talk about your issue, he will be available in the hall right outside the chamber doors, hopefully not making too much noise so we can still conduct our business. But you don't have to wait for the public hearing. If you're here for the single lot special assessment, he will be available. Also, we anticipated a large number of speakers this evening on some of our public hearing items, and we did move those as the second item on our agenda this evening as a courtesy, so we don't have to make residents wait through the entire meeting for what we think is going to be a longer public hearing. But our first item is exciting, and I'll call on our Deputy HR Director for our appointment of a fire chief and a deputy fire chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Human Resources on behalf of Administration recommends appointment of Joey Thornton to the position of Fire Chief for the City of Southfield. Joey holds a Master's of Technology, a Bachelor's of Science, and an Associate's degree. Joey is an experienced manager with more than 20 years of fire service and leadership, and he holds all the necessary credentials and certifications for the position. Excuse me. We recommend placement in Management Group 414 with the same rights and benefits as afforded to other Management Group employees. At this time, we respectfully request approval of the attached resolution as presented.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we approve the appointment of Mr. Joey Thornton as Southfield's next Chief of Fire.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hogue, supported by Councilman Hicks, to approve the appointment of Fire Chief Joey Thornton. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
We will have the city clerk swear you in.
Come on.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the State of Michigan, and the city charter of the City of Southfield,
Chief, if you'd like to say a few words or introduce yourself to the community.
All right. Hi, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Joey Thornton. It's with a great pride and deep sense of responsibility I accept this role. I'm honored to serve the citizens and the residents of Southfield, as well as lead the department full of such professional firefighters. Our priorities are simple. We want to keep the community safe, support the well-being and growth of our firefighters, and strengthen the connection between the fire department and the public we serve. Southfield Fire Department has a long-standing tradition of excellence. It's now my job to build on that legacy and continue moving the department forward. I'm truly humbled and I'm honored to be the fire department, or the fire chief of Southfield Fire Department. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. If you want to get better pictures, you can come up and get more centered if you like.
Come on, Sweet, you can come in front. He can come in front, too.
All right, Ms. Calhoun. Sorry, Dr. Calhoun.
Let me get out of your picture.
Stay in there.
All right, we're ready. Okay. Good evening again. And again, on behalf of administration, Human Resources recommends the appointment of Mark Jackson to the position of Deputy Fire Chief. Mark holds a master's degree and a bachelor's of science degree. He also possesses more than 20 years of fire service and operation and holds all of the necessary credentials and certifications for this position of Deputy Fire Chief. We recommend salary placement in Management Group 412 with the same rights and benefits as afforded to other Management Group employees. At this time, we respectfully request approval of the attached resolution as presented.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we approve as our new Deputy Chief, Mr. Mark Jackson.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilman Cruz, to approve the appointment of Deputy Fire Chief Mark Jackson. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
First, I want to thank the City of Southfield for actually allowing me this opportunity to serve you guys. City Council, Human Resources, my family, and my friends that I've worked with for so long that I call family. Thank you for your support. For 26 plus years working for the City of Detroit, I've learned a lot. I've taught a lot. I never knew that I wanted to get 3 degrees. I never knew I had it in me, but I saw something that was a need for me to serve the city, and I am glad I took that opportunity, and I'm glad that you're taking the opportunity to provide for me for this career opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So while we still have our fire chief, our new fire chief and our new deputy chief, I just want to take a minute to acknowledge their families that are here or that weren't unable to come. You know, it's not an easy job of a firefighter. The families, when they leave their home, they're hopeful. They pray that their family members will come home that evening. It's a dangerous job. We appreciate the trust that you've put into us to keep your loved ones safe. We do everything we can to make sure they have the proper equipment and training to keep them safe. And we appreciate you allowing them to work for us and our residents and our business owners in the city. And we will do our best and make them proud. So thank you very much to the families. I'd like to take a minute while they're taking pictures, if the family members can please stand up and be acknowledged.
Yeah, Mayor?
You can,
No, you.
Mr. Mayor, would you like us to come down also for a picture?
What if they stood in the middle? It's okay with you.
There's been a request from the council, if you'd like to stand right here in the middle with all of council to take a picture as well. We don't want to be left out. Can
Mr. Zorn?
Can you get all of us in here? Or
They can't get on.
It's about them, not about us.
all right, thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Oh, Mr. Zorn, congratulations.
All right, so again, I just want to make a housekeeping note that if you are here for a single lot assessment roll hearing and confirmation, if you've received a letter We do have staff in the hallway that is available to discuss your issue prior to the public hearing if need be.
What that means? Well.
All right, we'll just give it 1 minute, while everyone.
Who's that laughing?
All right, and again, if anyone is here for the single lot special assessment district, single lot special assessment, prior to the public hearing, you do have your opportunity to speak with city staff and try to work out your concerns or issues prior to the public hearing. Justin is in the hallway, and he can assist you if need be. Justin, can you raise your hand again? Justin?
He just walked in.
Oh, all right. Just want to acknowledge that we made another announcement that people can speak to you if they need. So if you could raise your hand if anyone has a single lot special assessment question prior to the public hearing, please speak to Justin.
Somebody's closing the doors.
Mr. Macrina, the doors, please. We have to ask.
He's taking them off.
Okay, so again, we made a small tweak on our agenda. We anticipated that the public hearing that we are about to have for PCZR25-0001 may have a lot of comments, so in order to be courteous to the residents that came out to speak, we moved this up in the beginning of our agenda. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Crode.
Good evening. PCZR 25-0001, petitioner Ali Mari. Address is located at 24412 Southfield Road. Existing zoning is OS Office Service. Proposed zoning is a conditional B3 general business to rezone the vacant parcel to construct and operate a new oil change business. The site is currently zoned OS and it has a future land use of local mixed use. Now with the conditional rezoning, it's a one-way street where the petitioner can offer to exclude certain uses in the requested district, which there's a whole list of excluded uses: adult marijuana retailers, alternative financial services such as pawn shops, assembly halls, automobile and truck agency sales, concert halls, drive-in fast food restaurants and bars, funeral homes, gas stations, hotels and motels, kennels and pet daycare, marketing and sales of lawn furniture and playground equipment, medical marijuana facilities, motor vehicle washing, open-air displays, open-air sales, religious institutions, sexually oriented businesses, shelters for the homeless, small box retail, smoking lounges, soup kitchens, and theaters. So if the conditional rezoning is approved, these B3 uses would be excluded. Now, anytime council considers a rezoning, you have to look at all of the permitted uses and special land uses, and these would be the remaining B3 uses that would be permitted on the site if this was to be rezoned. Medical offices, banks and similar financial institutions, post offices, private clubs or lodges, nursery schools, photographic interior decoration studios, photographic reproduction, personal services, retail stores, veterinary clinics and hospitals, publicly owned buildings and utility company, establishments of electricians, plumbers, so forth, health and fitness clubs, standard carry-out restaurants, and under the B3 special land uses that would remain as recreational centers and automobile repair and service facilities. The existing site is vacant. I believe it's been vacant for at least 30 years. This is the existing conditions survey. There is a former public alley along the eastern property line. This is the proposed site plan with sidewalks being installed on the north, south, and western portions of the property, additional landscape buffering and a screen wall along the eastern property, landscaping, brick pier and ornamental fence along Southfield Road. They provided a circulation plan for their typical truck deliveries, elevations, so it'll be new construction. Floor plan, they have proposed 3 bays. We also looked at trip generation based on the transportation engineers. Trip generation, weekday is anticipated 5.19 trips per hour or approximately 41 trips per day. Saturday is slightly higher at 5.38 trips per hour or 39.5 trips per day. Peak hour, street traffic, 3.5 trips per bay. Peak hour generator, 5 trips per bay. The Road Commission, Oakland County, has jurisdiction over Southfield Road, and they have indicated right turn in and right turn out only. So there's a diverter that will be installed, and then they're within the parking requirements of for oil changes. Here's the landscape plan. And then this is a similar type of facility in Livonia on Plymouth Road. They've agreed to put this additional brick piers and ornamental fencing along Southfield Road. But this will give you just an example of what the proposal looks like. And with that, before we go to the public hearing, I'd like to invite the petitioner to come up, give a brief overview, and then they can sit during the public hearing and then be able to respond to council's questions afterwards.
Right, and if you can give your name and address for the record, please, and anything else you'd like to share.
Yes, good evening. My name is Ali Murray. My address is 26398 Simone, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, 48127. I just wanted to make a couple apologies first. The first apology was to the church for not coming first, and I think I got to speak to Mr. Reggie and the pastor, and we cleared the air up. I wish I would have went first there. I wasn't aware if I was allowed to go there or not at the time. And we had a couple meetings that were set up. There was a miscommunication in the beginning. It was my mistake, but we end up, Mr. Reggie reached out to me. We ended up meeting. We had a great meeting, and we discussed all the concerns that they had. And we hope we got to answer all their concerns that they had. I brought Mr. Zachary along with me. He sat in on the meeting with us. I'm not sure if we need to answer any other questions, but I'm here to answer any questions anybody has.
So if there's anything else you wanted to add prior to the public hearing, some questions or concerns may come up during the public hearing, and you'll be able to respond. But if there's anything you wanted to add based on this presentation.
Zach Rowley, 13148 Talbot Avenue, Huntington Woods, Michigan. Just wanted to briefly address, because it was asked of us, kind of the 3 points that were raised previously regarding the site, centered around the possibility for traffic and additional traffic and what was done to address that, the land space between the redesigned site and the home to the east, and then the environmental. Believe we've addressed with the parties that it is, has been approved by MDOT and was taken to a right turn in, right turn out with an island, which addressed the concerns of the individuals that had raised that point, and won't have any access to the streets to the north or south. Again, a little bit of additional space was given in that mentioned former alleyway to the east, giving a little bit more separation with that house, which we believe has addressed everyone's concern there. And then third, again, with the church coming over to ask some questions about environmental, really had two concerns. One, whether or not this was going to increase general air pollution. We discussed that with them and kind of walked them through the process of how proper maintenance, use of proper oil would actually reduce those air pollutants, and that there will not be large queues of vehicles over here operating, as I believe it was ITE calculated only up to about 30 vehicles per day, and very low in proportion to the amount of traffic coming on the west. And then the primary concern raised by the church was making sure that proper environmental handling was taking place on the site. And we walked them again through that process of, at this facility, oil changes will be taken place above oil pans, drained into oil pans with secondary containment being the cement container, oil water separator, and then proper storage in elevated tanks not buried in the ground at the facility. And we believe that's addressed all the concerns that were raised by the parties, just for anybody who wasn't aware of those changes.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate the extra information. It's always, everyone always has that environmental concern. So we do appreciate that. But we will open up the public hearing and see what questions. Please pay attention if there's questions that we can't answer, and we'll have you come up afterwards.
Thank you.
All right, so this is a public hearing for PCZR 25-0001, a request to conditionally rezone the western 97 feet of the vacant parcel on the eastern side of Southfield Road between Stratford and Silver Maple from OS Office Service to B3 General Business. Every speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record.
My name is Reginald Barnes. I'm representing the Empowerment Church at 24350 Southfield Road, where I serve as the Director of Security. Allow me to introduce myself briefly. I have taken 3 sacred oaths throughout my life as a military veteran, a law enforcement officer, and a warrior of Christ. These oaths were made to protect the Constitution, safeguard the people, and uphold their rights. I firmly believe that these commitments did not expire with separation from service. Instead, they continue to define my ongoing responsibility to serve, protect, and advocate for what is just and what is proper. Over the past several weeks, we have attended Planning Commission and City Council public meetings concerning the proposal to develop an oil change business at 24412 Southfield Road, directly adjacent to our church. Throughout these hearings and public notices, it was never disclosed that the petitioner, Mr. Ali Murray, had already purchased the property to establish this business, or had contacted the neighbor directly behind him where he intended to build a wall between their properties. During those meetings, we expressed our concerns and opposition based on the information available at that time. However, it is now clear that the Planning Commission did not fully disclose key facts, including the change in ownership, which could have significantly altered the nature and tone of public comments and opposition had it made known. Transparency in such matters is critical to maintaining public trust, especially during these public hearings. Following the March 24, 2025 City Council meeting, Mr. Ali respectfully contacted me to request a meeting to discuss our concerns in person. After several scheduled attempts, we successfully met on April 24, 2025 at the Empowerment Church. Present at the meeting were Dr. Carlisle Fielding Stewart III, his executive assistants, and I, Mr. Ali, his brother-in-law named Ali, and Mr. Zachary Rowley. Our meeting was productive, respectful, and highly informative. Mr. Ali, Mr. Rowley provided clarifications that the Planning Commission should have initially shared with the public. These details addressed many of our concerns, and had they been disclosed earlier, could have minimized or even eliminate the opposition that arose. I want to state unequivocally that neither Dr. Stewart nor I ever intended to obstruct progress to prevent Mr. Ali from exercising his right to develop his property. Excuse me, I have sinus issue. Our primary concerns were focused on protecting the environment, preserving the integrity of our neighborhood, and ensuring that the rights of faith-based institutions like ours are respected. After meeting with Mr. Ali and understanding the full context, we welcome him to the neighborhood and look forward to establishing a successful collaborative relationship. I stand before you this evening in a spirit of understanding and partnership. Our initial opposition was never about stifling the growth of the city of Southfield or hindering Mr. Ali's business venture. It has always been and continues to be a call for greater transparency, open communication, and respect for community voices. We firmly believe that more transparent dialogue would prevent misunderstandings and foster a stronger sense of community.
Your time is up.
Additionally, I'll finish. All right. Thank you very much.
I let you go a little bit longer than I should have.
I'm sorry, I wasn't even looking at that clock. But we welcome Mr. Ali to our neighborhood.
That's all we needed.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
That's great.
I agree with you.
Mr. Barnes, don't go anywhere, though. Stay there for a second. Not stand up, but.
We just don't want you to leave the room yet.
Yeah.
All right, again, please give your name and address. You have 3 minutes.
Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is still 248-346-0439. Initially, I was not in favor of this project, and I was not in favor of the project for all the things that Mr. Reggie said. You have to notify businesses and people within a certain radius of something that you're about to do in their neighborhood. I agreed with everything that he said. If something changes, it requires, I would think, and I'm not an elected official, that it would require another notification. But listening to Mr. Ali, I think that you are awesome, professional, and you showed compassion for the human spirit, because this is their sanctuary, and the people that live on that street, that's their neighborhood and that's their home. And the fact that Mr. Ali went over and above to meet with Dr. Stewart, his executive staff, and Mr. Reggie, and all the players, and you did what you did, I concur again with Mr. Reggie. That's enough to welcome you to the neighborhood. I'm just hoping that you keep a nice, clean business, that you're a team player with the community, because we do a lot of stuff in the community, and we always try to reach out to businesses to support community events so we can support your business. I'm hoping that you keep good hours. I'm hoping that there's no environmental contamination, waste, or dumping, because I know of places that have dumped improperly and they got caught. And other than that, I really have nothing else to say, but thank you for what you did and how you recognize the church and the neighbors to do what you did. So I guess I'm in favor now of PCZR 25-0001. And shukran, Mr. Ali.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this item? All right, seeing none, public hearing is closed. I'd like to ask the petitioner to come back up. If there's any other comments you would like to make based on what you've heard, and then we'll take comments and questions from the council.
Yes, so again, I want to apologize if I made any commotion or mess. If in the beginning, this is my first time doing this, and it's definitely taught me a lesson, you know, to go and knock on doors and talk to people, and I could have probably saved a lot of this. My apologies to both sides. And again, if I did anything wrong, forgive me, and the same thing for the church and the community. Next time, hopefully I work on other projects in the city, I definitely will knock on doors and get permission first before anything further.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Hoag, you had a...
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually wasn't going to speak, but I think I have to, because this is how this should all play out. This is exactly how it should work. I don't think you owe any apologies. I'm just glad that we got to this point. I want to thank you. I want to thank the Planning Committee, our director. I want to thank the Empowerment Church, Mr. Barnes. I just wanted to thank you as well. Everybody has been respectful in this entire process. And I also would like to thank Councilwoman Haynes, because she was always pushing
Thank you.
adamantly about you guys talking. She did, from when we were in that room out here. And so this is how this process should all work out. We are a city, and we all have to, you know, get along and work together and all of that. So I'm just grateful that you guys talked. We get to keep not only our long-standing relationship with the church, Pastor Stewart, as well as with you, a new business owner. So I think we were expecting a lot more residents to come and talk. So it's wonderful, and you saw us all gave thumbs up when we heard that now the Empowerment Church is supporting this business opening, and I'm just so grateful to hear that. So I just wanted to personally thank you, the Empowerment Church, Mr. Barnes, who has been respectful throughout all this and all of his communications with us, and our planning department team and leader. And so I just thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Haynes?
I would like to say thank you as well, and I have the utmost respect for you for even coming forth as an honorable man and apologizing for whatever, to clear the slate. And this is really a win for the city and a win for the community. And I think that as residents are out there looking at it, please understand that we are here to do the best by both means. We need businesses on the tax roll. Like I said before, we just lost 2 businesses here, and we welcome you. And we welcome people of that honor and that integrity to support the community, and we ask that you all support the businesses so we can welcome more people here. The more we have here, the better it is for us. And it is important that we keep the relationship with the community, and I think all was done that was proper to make this happen, and we're going to continue to make that happen. Thank you, Mr. Crow and the planning department. And it is new when people come in, they don't know how to do things, and they learn. And like my grandmother used to say, when you learn better, you do better. And so thank you for that to the church as well. And congratulations for the city of Southfield and all of us here. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Councilman Brightwell?
Yeah, I want to appreciate the applicants, because originally I was concerned about, ground contamination. And that's been one of my big concerns since I've been on council. And I know stories of like establishment moving on, but then the one who followed them, there was ground contamination, and they cost a lot of money to clear that up. But I'm glad that you guys have addressed this verbally with us by council, and I think Mr. Crow indicated that obviously the establishments I was concerned about, they're a little more heavily involved in oil and gasoline than you guys are. So I definitely appreciate it, and as was stated by the church and also by you indicate that you have learned by this process, and obviously other applicants that follow you will applicants have a tendency to learn by what went ahead of them. So.
Right.
I appreciate your diligence in trying to do right and doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Before we take a vote, I want to make a comment as well. Councilman Hicks was also pushing for a meeting between the church and the oil change business. You know, it's one of those discussions that we've had where, should this be part of the requirements when someone comes to the city, because it can help, as we see, make the process smoother, the communication is always helpful, not just in this situation, but in any situation that you deal with. So again, we do appreciate the time that you took and that Empowerment Church took. I do appreciate Mr. Barnes' passion. He's been at our meetings the last 2 months, Planning Commission, our council meetings, speaking, sending us emails after each meeting. And the fact that he also came up here today just to say he was against it, but now that they've talked, he understands it, he's supportive. I think it shows a lot of character, and we appreciate that you came back to give us those words. And that's one of the reasons I kind of broke protocol and let you speak a little bit longer, because I think it's important to show that that character that is so important when we have these big issues that come up in the city. So thank you, Mr. Barnes, and thank you, Ali, that you took the time to meet with the church. We do appreciate that, and
Thank you.
hopefully that's something that the Planning Commission can either put as part of their, not necessarily requirements, but a very strong suggestion to petitioners in the future. So, any other questions or comments from council?
Welcome.
Well, we still have to vote.
Mr. President.
Don't forget to let us know when you're open and, you know, how the progress is going. So we look forward to
Absolutely.
the ribbon cutting and everything.
Look forward to having you guys. Thank you.
Okay, great.
All right, Councilwoman Hoag?
Let me first apologize to Vice President Hicks. I'm sorry for leaving you out on that, sir. But with that, I move that we approve the request to conditionally rezone the western 97 feet of vacant parcel on the eastern side of Southfield Road, parcel number 24-25-151-020 from office service to general business, with the conditions and exclusions as presented by the Planning Committee.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Haynes, to approve PCZR 25-0001 with all of the conditions set forth in our resolution. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we enact ordinance number 1810.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilman Cruz, to introduce ordinance number 1810. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Through the chair,
Yes.
we have one additional related item on this, is the special land use approval. I have all the conditions up here. I always like to point out that the hours of operation are proposed from Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, they could close earlier, but that would be the maximum window for their opening. And it is subject to all the other approvals as listed here on this resolution. So we still do need to have a public hearing on the special land use.
All right. So we've seen the presentation prior with, when we were discussing the conditional rezoning. This is a public hearing for PSLU 24-0014, a special use request to construct and operate a new oil change business at 24412 Southfield Road. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record.
Are you ready? Oh. Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. I guess I am in favor of this also, if I'm in favor of the first one. I don't know if I had ever mentioned when they were coming before the city as to whether or not the building was going to be LEED certified. And if he could just answer that question, if the building is going to be LEED certified, and if so, 1, 2, 3, or 4 level LEED certified, I would appreciate that. Or if it's going to be an energy efficient building, you know, they have this thing called Omni Block that has the insulation within the actual brick. So if he could just talk a little bit about the construction of it, since this is to construct and operate a new oil business, I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much, and I'll yield all that time for the question to be answered.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this public hearing? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Can the petitioner answer the question if your building will be LEED certified?
Should I state my name one more time?
Sure.
Ali Murray, 26398 Simone, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, 48127. The answer on that is going to be, we're going to be as efficient as possible. I do want to go LED all the way inside, outside. On the rails, like the oil rails and whatnot, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out, but pretty much I'm going to say between 97% and 99% of the building will be LED all the way around. As for the structure of the building, we do have the architect that's building it for us. It's built over 25 of these. They are going to be double insulated walls also, and that's probably where Zach would come into place for the pit and explain how that's probably going to work out due to environmentals.
If I could, the LEED certification is a private certification. It could add up to $100,000 to the development of a project. And you typically would find that on a multi-million-dollar project in some major cities. We're always encouraged to be energy efficient, but it's not a requirement to be LEED certified here in the city, especially for a building this size. It's a good thing that a private building industry had it established to be more energy efficiency, but there is a significant cost to doing it that way.
Okay. Council, do you have any other questions or comments?
And if I could, through the chair,
Yes.
I'd like to just reiterate the conditions
Yes.
before you make a motion. So it is subject to approval of the conditional rezoning. Also, the Planning Commission made a conditional site plan approval with the addition of a decorative fencing and brick piers along Southfield. That was in lieu of additional landscaping. So they are required to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals to get some minor waivers on the landscaping setback around the property. The petitioners to implement recommendations by the Police Department's Crime Prevention Bureau, and then the hours of operation, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they're also required to meet our general special land use requirements, such as noise, pollution, light, and so forth.
Okay, thank you. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we approve the special use request PSLU 24-0014 to construct and operate a new oil change business on the parcel as listed with the conditions as stated by the Director of Planning.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to approve PSLU 24-0014 with all the conditions listed. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day.
All right. Next, we will move into the communications portion of our meeting. I just wanted to give an update on some of the speakers from last week. We had a speaker who was having an issue with her septic sewer project to reconnect to the, she was getting rid of her septic tank connecting to the city sewer. Once the city was made aware of it, just a few days prior to our council meeting, we had our building official out there almost every day inspecting and helping. I'm happy to say that she has now been connected to the city's system, and they are working on cleanup, and the city is putting together a plan with her, as well as the contractor, to figure out a plan for the restoration of the driveway, sidewalk, and grass. So I do want to thank, I know he's not here, but Mr. Woodward for pretty much being out there every day, making sure that the project moved along. We had a speaker who was talking about some ADA accessibility to the police station. I know that that resident spoke with Councilman Banks, as well as some of the city departments earlier today. I don't know if anything came of it, a specific plan, but I know that there was some discussion. Ms. Banks, did you want to talk about that?
There's just going to be some further research, and then they'll report back to the entire council on the findings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also had a speaker who had an issue with flooded basement, and I know that our Public Works Director did speak with the resident, and this was not, everyone likes to, or a lot of people blame we'll call it the pumping station at 10 and Pierce. This was not part of that system. We're not, again, don't know why, but as a goodwill health and safety measure, the city did go out to mitigate the damage and the water in the basement. Because of that, there was significant cleanup that needed to be done in her basement. And it was indicated that she thought the city should also rebuild her basement, which is not something the city does, but the city, out of a goodwill health and wellness safety measure, does go in and clean up basements. And it doesn't sound like the resident had insurance that would cover the repairs of the basement, but that's not something that the city would be rebuilding the basement. So I did want to do some follow-up on those speakers from our last meeting. With that, we'll move into this week's communications. The Southfield City Council has established the following rules of procedure for all speakers. No speaker may make personal or impertinent attacks upon any officer, employee, or city council member or other elected official that is unrelated to the manner in which the officer, employee, or city council member or other elected official performs his or her duties. No person shall use abusive or threatening language towards any individual when addressing the city council. Any person who violates this section shall be directed by the presiding officer to be orderly and silent. If a person addressing the council refuses to become silent when so directed, such person may be deemed by the presiding officer to have committed a breach of the peace by disrupting and impeding the orderly conduct of the public meeting of the city council, and may be ordered by the presiding officer to leave the meeting. If the person refuses to leave as directed, the presiding officer may direct any law enforcement officer who is present to escort the violator from the meeting. The council may not provide responses to public comment during the meeting. If you have provided your contact information when you signed up for public communications, the city will provide a more formal response to you in the near future. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and we ask that you give respect to all the speakers, which includes making sure that your cell phones are on silent. Our first speaker is Shannon McGlynn. Shannon. All right. Ella and Jerry Modell.
We'd like to thank you, Mayor Seibert, and the board for the improvements being made to the Lasher Park, and especially for the paved walk-through from Lincolnshire through to Lasher. I'm Ella Modell and my husband Jerry, and we have lived on Pontchartrain near Lincolnshire for approximately 40 years. Now that the dog park is becoming a reality, we've been seeing a lot of people coming to the corner of Pontchartrain and Lincolnshire with their dogs. Unfortunately, they seem to be unaware of the Michigan law, Act Number 339, Section 287.262, stating that dogs must be kept on a leash no longer than 6 feet when in public spaces like roadsides, parks, or recreational areas. And the unleashed dogs are out there. In fact, when we now see cars parked on Lincolnshire near the park entrance, you can pretty much know that there's someone in the park with their dog. In fact, I don't believe that at the end of Pontchartrain at Lincolnshire that that's meant for parking. It's a dead end where the two streets meet. Just this past Saturday at approximately 11 a.m., there was an unleashed dog running around on the hilly area as I was walking on the path. While there are signs asking people to leash their dogs, pick up their waste, there needs to be more, and people need to know that there are fines attached. It needs to be stronger. Personally, I'm afraid of unleashed dogs. I've been bitten once and don't want to repeat. We are asking for more signage, stronger signage, and for city officials, police, animal control, to start patrolling the area on a regular basis. People need reminders about the state laws and the City of Southfield ordinances, that their pet must be licensed and not allowed to run loose, but on a leash. We need to feel safe walking through the path in my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Since I have extra time, do we get a picture too? Thank you.
Thank you. I forgot to mention that we will respond to comments that we are able to respond to after public communications has completed. So if you just want to hang out, we can formulate a response. All right, our next speaker is Reginald Barnes. Okay. Our next speaker is Trina Scott.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Trina Scott, and I am a resident in Southfield. I have several concerns that I'd like to bring to your attention that my neighbors have brought to the attention of different departments, but we haven't had resolution. One is the drainage at 26504 Primary Drive in Matriarch has not been fixed. We have water that stays still on that corner, and they came to build a ditch, and that ditch is still not retaining the water. The water is not going down on it, so we need that to be fixed. Our next major concern are all the gas stations that are being built in our neighborhood. We feel that having 5 gas stations in less than a quarter of a mile does not make sense. We are for commercial business, and we believe that that's important to the city, but we also think that there should be a limit on that. We have a gas station that is on Northwestern Highway in Franklin. We have 2 right there on that corner. We've been told that where the old Kinko's was on 12 Mile and Northwestern, there will be yet another gas station. If you go across the street, there's a gas station on 12 Mile and Northwestern that's on the southwest corner, if you will, of there. And then if you go up 1 more block, there's a BP. We feel that that is really not the kind of commerce we want in our neighborhood, and more importantly, I think, as we talk about zoning and the things that we want as residents in our community, we should be considering how many and what's in our area. To that point, we have 3 vaping stores that have been built in our neighborhood as well that are less than a half a mile apart. And then we're having littering and dumping that are happening on Matriarch. Again, as citizens, we go around and we pick up that, but we'd love to be able to get no dumping, no littering signs on Matriarch to be able to address that. The last thing I'll say is that I've been in this neighborhood for 7 years. I've been in the city of Southfield for over 20 off and on, and what we're starting to see is a lot of speeding down Matriarch. We have residents that are over there. We have children that are in our neighborhood. We had asked a while ago in 2020 when we had an unthinkable crime that happened to our neighbor. We asked that some type of speeding deterrent would be put in place. There was a speeding, sign that was put up, but that wasn't deterring anyone. So we'd really love for someone to come out to look at what the speeding patterns are. It's usually late at night. and we are very concerned with that happening in our community. So thank you for listening to our concerns, and I will be here every Monday that I can to be able to uplift them until we have resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Stacy Jackson.
Good evening, Stacy Jackson, Southfield resident and president of Beechwood Acres Homeowners Association. Wanted to come here tonight, one, to show my appreciation for this council listening to Southfield resident Ms. Hobbs, who is a woman who has showed that she not only packs her patience, but carries it as a stow almost around her shoulders for dealing with the sewer line connection that took nearly 3 months to do on 9 Mile. Mr. Woodward did come out and sit on the property to ensure that this project was officially completed, and for that, the residents say thank you for that. I would like to also bring a matter to your attention, or inquiry, from Beechwood Acres relative to the swimming pool. I did get a number of calls from residents in our community about the Southfield swim days at Oak Park, where it looked like it was maybe 2 days a month for that, and primarily in the evening. So the residents in my community who have younger children are trying to figure out what days during the early afternoon are available so that the times or swim days at Oak Park are not closer to bedtime. If you could give us an update on possibly having additional afternoon or earlier morning swim days at Oak Park, or is there an update on when we might get a pool? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Pamela Gerald.
Good evening. I did a FOIA request, and my phone blew up all day long, letting me know that my FOIA was ready and was ready for pickup. I get this note handed to me that says I won't be able to get the FOIA until early in the day. If it was ready today, and I was called at least 5 times to tell me that the FOIA was ready, what does it mean early tomorrow in the day? What I'm attempting to do, the deadline is tomorrow. So if you don't have the FOIA ready, give me the paperwork so that I can file what I need to file by the deadline tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm happy that you guys selected a fire chief. But I'm concerned about the fact that for many, many years, we had a chief and 1 deputy chief. What is the purpose of now having 2 deputy chiefs and then a chief? Now, you might say, well, the police department has 2 deputy chiefs and a chief of police, and that's great. But you're missing something, because the charter says that police and fire are supposed to have equal parity. Is it, in terms of the salary? We need to look into that. That's not a charter committee thing. That is a city council thing and a city administration thing. The other thing that I'm concerned about, both of those candidates got up here and did their due and gave their speech, said absolutely nothing about the residents. Now, I just want to know, and I want you guys to know that I'm going to be paying attention. Are these guys going to be concerned about the real people in this city, which would be the firefighters, because they do all the work? Are they going to be concerned about the people? Or is this going to be an attempt to maybe regionalize a fire department? I was talking to another firefighter in another city, and he asked me what I thought about that, and I said, what do you mean? There's this effort to regionalize the fire department. We don't want that. We have our own fire department and our own firefighters. Thank you.
All right, we had another speaker sign up, Jerry Modell, but I believe he came up with when his wife spoke. So that will conclude communications this evening. To try to answer some of the unleashed dogs, I believe that we can work with our Parks and Rec on some additional signing, as well as talk with our animal control officer about patrolling that area a little bit more. To Ms. Scott, you talked about the drainage issue on Primary Drive. I did see our Public Works Director, who's behind you, taking notes, and he will look into that as well. In relation to speeding, the City Council did approve last summer a speed bump or speed calming measure application process. You have your email here, we will make sure that it gets emailed to you, and there is a petition and application that residents can file, and that starts the process. There's a number of factors that go into it, and they look at many different items. They look at the number of cars, are there sidewalks, a number of different factors, and it gets graded, and they determine if speed humps would help the situation or if it's more police patrol, but all the information is in that brochure, and I can make sure that that gets sent to you. The former Kinko's site will not be a gas station. It's going to be a car wash. It's not a gas station, but it's a car wash. It's a new car wash to Michigan, L Car Wash. They just opened up a few locations in other counties. This is going to be the first one for them in Southfield. As it relates to the other zoning with some of the gas stations along Northwestern Highway, some of them have been there many, many years. There's a lot of traffic on Northwestern Highway. I can't necessarily, maybe our city planner can speak to the vaping shops, but many times those are permitted and they don't need to come to the city council, but that's a zoning issue. I don't know, Mr. Crode, can you speak to that?
I think they fall under general retail.
Is your microphone on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. There we go.
They fall under general retail.
So that
So if it's, they can't sell any drug paraphernalia. The medical marijuana businesses are regulated, as we know. If this is, this falls under the smoking, and I'm looking at our city attorney. So I'm not like cigar smoking shops. So I don't know specifically which one she's referring to, but we can look into it.
Okay. So, and then with littering, we can just call, code enforcement is always helpful with different, with littering issues. You can also, they have a 24-hour message line, 248-796-EYES, EYES, and you can leave a message. You can also use the Southfield Solutions app, which will geolocate a specific area. If you sign in with the app, you can get a response from the city department that will follow up with you on that specific issue that you put in the app. But 796-EYES is an anonymous tip line, or you can call our code enforcement department between 8 and 5 during the day, and they can address those issues. We had a resident who questioned the Southfield days at the Oak Park Pool. We will have to get in touch with our Parks and Rec director and see if there's any plans to make any times earlier in the day for those with small children. As it relates to a pool, that is something that the council is constantly considering. We've had numerous discussions. We have a discussion coming up. It's something that will definitely be discussed during our budget talks that are coming up as well. So it is on the top of our minds, and it is something that we know that residents would like to see, and we have not forgotten that. We had a speaker who talked about a FOIA request. I will have to either refer to the city clerk or the city attorney on that, as that's out of our purview.
Yes, so with the FOIA requests, of course, we've been getting in quite a few because people requesting the petitions that were turned in. So I will make sure everything's done, as long as it's done under the statute. What legal has been doing the extra review. So I will take the responsibility of that and make sure everything gets out, because I know tomorrow, 5 p.m. is the deadline if someone wanted to challenge it. So I will be there at the clerk's office. But it was our extra review.
Okay. We don't go back and forth, but you can call the city attorney tomorrow, and
I'll be in the city clerk's office.
she's familiar with the request. Okay. That ends our communication portion. Now we have a number of minutes to approve.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that we approve, with any corrections, the minutes including Committee of the Whole, February 3rd, and the regular meetings, February 10th, 2025, February 24th, 2025, March 17th, 2025, and March 24th, 2025.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilman Hicks, supported by Councilwoman Hoag.
I have a question.
I need to repeat the
Okay.
motion first. Motion by Councilman Hicks, supported by Councilwoman Hoag, to approve the meeting minutes that were listed A, B, C, D, E in our packet. There was a new set of minutes that was emailed out, and I'm assuming that's the corrected minutes you're referring to. All right, Councilman Banks?
And I was going to reiterate, the February 24th and March 17th minutes were sent out on Friday, so that should be as corrected, and hopefully those will be the minutes that will be posted. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, Council? Councilwoman Haynes? Yes.
February 24th.
Let me take a look.
You weren't absent.
March, you're talking February 24th or March 24th?
I couldn't hear you. Who was absent?
March 24th. I was listed as absent. I don't remember being absent.
I don't see that it says you were absent.
This is
What page are you on for March 24th
9,
minute?
page 9.
March 24th, you're
Yeah.
saying?
Page 9.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a committee of the whole, regular meeting. I've never been absent, so I don't know what it was.
that should be corrected. You were here. That was our, so to the city clerk, we're looking at the March 24th minutes on page 9. Their resolution 2025.101 to go into a closed session. It shows that Councilwoman Haynes was absent when she should have had a yes vote. But, did you step out of the room? That would be the only reason you'd be absent.
No, I mean, I stepped out the room. Not for a vote.
Yeah, you were here. That should, we have that
So-
correction?
March the 24th,
So March 24th, page 10, resolution 2025.101. Haynes is showing absent. It should show that she was a yes vote.
Thank you.
In that same resolution, the title should say support by Hicks. The B is missing, the word by. So
Sorry, you said,
the motion, it says motion by Hoag, supported by Hicks, but the word by has a typo. It's missing the letter B for boy. Well, I can send you the correction,
Yeah.
but I'll send these to you in the email. But the motion was with corrections, so I think
Yeah,
we're
it was.
okay. I appreciate that. Any other questions on the minutes? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine, non-controversial, or have previously been discussed. Council, do you have any items you wish pulled for further discussion?
Item C.
Item C, pest control services. Any other item that,
I have a comment on item D.
comment on item D? Okay. Okay, what, Mr. McRena, pest control services. What is your question, Mr. Brightwell?
I would more than likely vote against this, really. The bid is all over the place, and I can't understand why this is kind of, if I have seen this in my world, I would never have I don't understand how you get this number of bidders, and they're all over the place. Nothing is seen to be consistent. There's a $5,000 bid, and then there's a $11,000 bid. It's just $22,000 bid, $122,000 bid. It's just, this is just, seem to do it, I'm assuming all the bidders get the same info, and these are companies that we are dealing with, and they are in this business, and they are not fly-by-night individuals, or they're not, a gig economy. I don't know, I just, I don't understand why we get these bids all over the place. So I'll be voting against this one way or the other. So it's just not consistent, and I don't, may well just take it off. I don't even want to look at it, really.
Okay, so close your eyes. Mr. McCreen, I did ask this question to him about why the bids were so fluctuated. Can you answer
Well,
that?
first of all, obviously, we don't control the bids. But I think
Can you speak louder, please?
the two items we're discussing here, or that were on the agenda, are great opportunities to discuss when we can afford to try a low bid and when maybe we can't. If I could just contrast this to the window washing, a company out of Illinois, 1/3 the price of the next bidder, but I'm not uncomfortable recommending them. First of all, no one we recommend is not qualified. We carefully research everyone. But in this instance, with window washing, we can afford to take a bit of a chance. Because if the work isn't done well, we call them up and say, come out and do it again. No real problem for us. It's also very easy to hold window washing companies accountable. The window's clean, the window's not clean. There's no excuses. So on this one, even though they are the lowest bidder, 1/3 the cost of the next, I do recommend the company out of Illinois, the All Windows Cleaning, because it's low risk, easily verifiable.
we're on the pest control.
Pest control, on the other hand, contrast with that. That is a high risk. If we have a poor job done for pest control, we end up with facilities closed longer than they need to be. We end up with employees and customers exposed to pests like bed bugs, and we end up with people sort of poking fun at us, even though it's not our fault that someone with bed bugs or cockroaches came into our facility. it's still used against us. So that is a very highly important contract, and we don't want to take chances on that. While I'm not going to disparage any of the other companies that bid for pest control, I do notice that some of the other ones are out of the area. Escanaba. We're not going with a company from Escanaba. We'd never call out a pest control or a window washing for emergencies. So they're out of Illinois, that's fine. But pest control, we do call out for emergencies, and it's important that when we call them, they are here promptly and they do a good job. The other problem with pest control is it's hard to hold them truly accountable, and here's why. We have pest control work in one area, but we have another outbreak nearby. Did they do a bad job? Or what they will always say is somebody else came in and brought in another pest. We can't prove one way or the other. So when it comes to pest control, we don't take chances. CJB has worked for us before, not under contract. We just called them out for an emergency because our contract company wasn't available. Because they're in Farmington Hills and not Escanaba, they were here right away. They did great work, and they were reasonable to deal with. I can comfortably recommend CJB. They will do a good job for us. They will do it at a reasonable price. I'm not going to disparage any other companies, but there are things you don't take chances on, and I believe this is one.
Councilman Hicks had a comment as well.
So with the utmost respect to the councilman and the opinion, as having performed this job, a larger capacity, I would say that they give requirements to the vendors who are submitting a response to those requirements. And then there's opportunity to ask questions. So with the bids being all over the place, that happens. Some people may have a better relationship or better access to quantity of a commodity where they can do it at a different price versus another entity who may not have that same luxury. So consistency is inconsistency could be normal in this commodity. So just wanted you to take that as a consideration.
Yeah, I am. And I've seen bids, but when I've seen everybody has the same information, they're in the same industry, it's the same season, everything is normal. I never seen this kind of fluctuation in the bidding process. Well, quite frankly, you can just go forward. I'm gonna vote against this because it doesn't make sense to get this variations in bids for the same product in the same industry in the same bugs, and it just doesn't make sense. And this is I'm just voting no. It's just too much variation in this particular case here, and I'm just one of 7, and but I don't want to see anything that comes before this council that it has this kind of variations from from 12,000 to 120,000. What kind of information are they getting? So it just doesn't make sense.
So if I can, I'd like to ask our purchasing director to come up because she deals with these issues with all the bids that come in. A lot of them fluctuate, so maybe she can also shed some additional light.
Good evening, council. This bid, I'm going to be honest with you, it was the bed bugs. This is one of those situations where some people go per hour. We actually had one company that goes by square footage as far as what they are going to charge the city to treat that special treatment. We have 7 buildings that we are asking for monthly treatments for bed bugs. There are other buildings for the municipality that we are not. We're saying as needed. That's where that variance. Larger companies, as you stated, Councilman Hicks, may have more abilities than other companies. And we do have a relationship. I personally, since my time, have had to deal with CJB, and they've been great. We've had emergency situations at fire stations. They were there right away. They were there when we really needed them to come through for us. And that's really what the numbers are. Some companies are like, okay, we can do it. But they're, like you said, they're smaller companies and they're further out. They're going to cost us more money in the end. And I want the facilities director, Mr. Macrina, and we're here to protect the residents when they come into our buildings and the staff here. So that's what we're looking for. The companies are going to make sure these buildings are protected when it comes to pests. So the real question is, it was really all about bed bugs. That was the biggest caveat between the companies, is how they're going to charge. And I'm going to be honest with you, a couple companies did not answer that portion of the bid. They answered everything else, but when we asked for what is going to be your charge for bed bugs, they did not give us an answer. So that's also a caveat in why there is a disparage between the numbers. Any further questions?
Do you have any other questions?
Well, I'm voting no for, but in the future, if you can, you see this variation, this kind of a variance, and I would like the explanation why there is such a variance. And it's, I didn't just fall out of the sky. I only talk nothing that I used to do in my prior life. But just as a human being on this council, I'm not going to vote for this. So you can go forward. I'm just voting against it. It's too much variations here, and if there's consistency in their service, anything. But I do know that individuals have a personal. When you're looking at bids, you're looking at bids. So I'm not going to vote for it. Go ahead, please.
Okay. And Councilman Banks, you had a question on the window washing.
Yes, I just wanted to compliment our purchasing department on this bid, because the low bid is 4.5 times lower than the high bid. And like Mr. Brightwell, I was kind of shocked, but this is a situation where we can gamble a little, and let's pray that the low bidder does a great job and we can keep them for 3 years, because we are saving a lot of money by accepting their bid. So I wanted to just say thank you.
Thank you. We have communicated with that vendor regarding the entire process, and they have been very open with us regarding, they understand that they are coming here from Illinois and that they're definitely going to work with our schedule.
Well, I have a couple of kids at home that'll do it for $3 cheaper, so.
I will keep that in mind.
Councilman Hoag?
I just too want to thank our purchasing department for their work. I think I'm sorry that our colleague won't vote with us, because I think that maybe if we can add that on future bids to be able to say, because she clearly stated that some gave a bid based upon different means of how they calculated their costs, whether it was by a number of buildings, the square footage of it, the service, or what have you. But so if you can remember, because I'd like for us to, especially on something that is to support the city, that I would think that we would all be a yay to and not a nay, because certainly, as the deputy stated, they can't control what the bid says. The bid is the bid, but I understand if there's some additional information that could be shared with us, just if you can add it in the future, to be able to say, because they gave you the cost for different reasons on how they priced it for us. But I think, I would like to see a unanimous support on something that certainly we need, is pest control services and window washing, but specifically the pest control services. So I think going forward, if we can, add that, but I don't think it's their blame and then for us to say no to. So obviously I'm going to support, but I would like to see something like this. We could get unanimous support on something that we know the city needs, and we would not want us to be kicked out of our buildings because of pests. So I appeal to you a little further, but if not, that's fine. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Haynes?
I have a question. In regards to the type of chemicals that are used, are they environmentally friendly? Because I know they're going to be spraying or in the buildings and things like that, because, sometimes those things are, was that a question that was asked?
Yes, and we ensure that all companies we deal with are in full compliance with all laws and regulations and fully licensed. This is a very regulated industry. Window washing, not so much, but pest control is very much, and we ensure there is full compliance. We're also careful as when we conduct any spraying, if we can do it to minimize exposure.
Okay,
If it's not an urgent thing, Friday evening's always a better time.
okay, thank you very much. I will be supporting this.
All right, so council, I'll entertain a motion for items A, the Brownfield redevelopment and loan from the local Brownfield revolving fund, former Plaza 16400 JL Hudson Drive, to set the public hearing date on May 12th. Item B, West Nile Virus Protection Funding Assistance. Item D, window washing bids. Item E, authorization to seek a SEMCOG Planning Assistance Program grant to update and combine the city's 2012 non-motorized pathway and public transit plan and 2019 bus stop improvement survey and plan. And F, receipt of bids on printing the Southfield Living newsletter.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that the consent agenda be approved as you read the items.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilman Hicks, supported by Councilman Banks, to approve items, consent agenda items A, B, D, E, and F. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we approve consent agenda item C for pest control services bid.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Haynes, supported, I'm sorry, it has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Haynes, to approve the pest control service bid, which is item C on our consent agenda. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
One opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Council. Next, we move into our public hearing and site plans. Our first item is a single lot special assessment roll hearing and confirmation.
Good evening. The item I have before you tonight is a request to hold a public hearing and confirm the 2025 single lot special assessment roll. Section 1.13 of the city ordinance mandates the procedure for assessing certain costs incurred by the city for various services, loans, and other required fees assessed by each department. These costs, when not paid, shall become a lien on the property and be placed on the summer tax bills for collection by the city treasurer. These costs include single lot special assessment loans for sewer and contractor services and tree removal, property transfer affidavit fines, city center special assessments, street lighting fees, corrective actions from code enforcement, community participation fees from brownfield agreements, return check fees, sewer tap permits, and police false alarm charges. There are currently 796 delinquent charges totaling $319,044.35, and all the individual city departments have assessed these costs, have notified the property owners by mail. I ask that you now hold a public hearing for the purpose of confirming the 2025 single lot special assessment roll and allow any property owner to be heard regarding their objections.
All right, thank you. We will now hold a public hearing for the single lot special assessment roll and hearing confirmation. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record, and you can discuss your concern with your, I guess, address or parcel number being on this report. All right, seeing nobody coming up, the public hearing is now closed. I do want to make a comment to thank, I know this is a lot of work putting this all together, and I'm glad to see that the total amount outstanding has trended downwards.
That's correct.
So that is very nice to see.
Yeah.
Council, do you have any questions?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that council hereby approves and confirms the 2025 single lot special assessment roll as prepared and submitted by the city assessor.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Banks, supported by Councilman Cruz, to approve the single lot of special assessment roll hearing and confirmation report as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks. Thank
you. All right, next is the application from, I'm going to mess up the name.
Baco, formerly known as, or also known as Baco.
All right, from the development formerly known as Baco, for a commercial rehabilitation exemption certificate under PA 210 of 2005. Hopefully the
evening.
petitioner can tell us the correct pronunciation,
Yes.
but yes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, Honorable Board. The City of Southfield received an application for a PA 210 exemption for 10 years for the development, Raycaco Development at 29410 Northwestern Highway. This is also known as the Baco redevelopment. We have a short presentation, and then we would request a public hearing. I would like to just share that we did receive support from the County Executive Dave Coulter's office from Oakland County as required to submit the application to the State Treasurer's office. And Ryan?
Thanks. Thank you for having us. Just a quick presentation on the project. Luciano Del Signore, he's our chef and restaurateur who's going to redevelop. He's been around here for about 4 decades. He's been nominated. He's got several accomplishments here, as you can kind of see. I won't read them all, but he cooks really good food. So the former Baco restaurant operated for about 22 years. You can see in red there on the parcel map, and it closed in 2024. The parcel area is about 1.6 acres, and they had about a 12,000 square foot building that was built in 1983, and it's been owned by Luciano's company, Raycaco, for that entire time. So what they're looking to do, they're going to demolish the building. It just wasn't, they wanted to expand their business model, and the building was not going to be able to accommodate what they wanted to do. So they're going to construct a new 2-story facility with a restaurant and cigar lounge. It's going to involve several landscape improvements and installation of EV charging stations. They're going to have private dining and cigar lounge, a seafood bar, fine dining restaurant, retail space, and an outdoor patio. This is kind of a floor plan kind of look to the restaurant that they're looking to, and cigar lounge and retail areas and stuff that they're looking to do with the patio there on the left. You can kind of see kind of a little bit of what their vision is. So for the PA 210, the district has already been established at the request of this council. Thank you very much for establishing sub-district. They're requesting a 10-year abatement period, which freezes the local taxes at their pre-development values. So what they are now, not what they're going to be when the project's done. The total capital investment is going to be about $16.2 million. It was, again, created back in 2024. And then we're looking at a completion date of this winter or early spring of next year from a partial. It's going to be a job creator, between 60 and 120 jobs relative to retail and restaurant and hospitality. This council was also nice enough to approve a brownfield plan with this for the eligible cost for $824,000, which will be 19 years, and we actually got MEDC to support the capture of state taxes on this. So the state's also on board with this project as well. So that concludes our presentation. Chef Luciano Del Signore is here, along with Nicole Antacoli, who is the project manager for the project. And if you have any questions about the project, we'd love to answer them for you.
Do you have anything you'd like to share? Please give your name and address for the record.
Luciano Del Signore, 29410 Northwestern Highway, Southfield, Michigan. Hi, how are you? Council, thank you for having us. So we're really excited about this project, and we've come a long way from its inception to to where we are today. Approximately, I would say, almost 2 years we've been working on it, And it's really evolved into something extraordinary, and it's soon to be announced publicly. And I think it's going to be a jewel for the city of Southfield. As I stated before, Baco Restaurante had a beautiful 22-year run, and COVID unfortunately changed the complexity of my market, particularly in the office space, where I only had to go, a mile in each direction to keep my restaurant full 6 days a week. Changed a lot. And so what we have developed is a destination for Southfield, and we're looking to draw to this property from everywhere in the community and then some. I think it's going to be nationally known. I think it's going to be really something, so thank you.
And can you just, how do you pronounce the name of the development?
Raikeko is the property development name, Raikeko.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will have a public hearing now for the PA 210. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record.
Pamela Jarrell, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. Well, let me tell you about my history with the now Baco restaurant. In the 80s, and he would remember this gentleman, Manuel owned that restaurant, and it was called Di Modesta. And I probably went there, I was younger, I didn't want to learn how to cook. I worked and went to school, so I didn't have a lot of time. And I would go to the restaurant 3 or 4 times a week. When Manuel said that he was closing, it was like grieving over somebody moving out of town or like passing away. And I was really upset. And I said, I'll never go there again. I don't care whatever restaurant opens up there, I would never go there again. So when Baco opened up, okay, let's give it a chance. I was happy. It was beautiful on the inside. I started going to Baco when I met my husband. Me and my husband started going to Baco. And the food was great, the atmosphere was great. And if you wanted to see some of Southeastern Michigan's who's who, you would go to Baco. We always ran into Jeffrey Feiger in there. We always ran into Mel Farr. In fact, we had seen Mel Farr in there like right before he passed away. But I can tell you that whenever I went to Baco, there was this waiter there named Michael. And Michael had a sister, and he trained his sister. And if you ever want to see someone pouring ice water into a glass like Picasso would do a picture, or Ferrari would make a car, or, well, I can't say a designer handbag because of the tariffs and where they really come from, but you know what I'm saying. His waiter, Michael, would pour it like this from a distance. No splashes, no spilling anything, no nothing. So to hear that Luciano, did I say it right? Del Senor is going to stay in Southfield, going to reopen and relaunch and rebrand Baco is absolutely phenomenal. We don't really have a nice eatery in Southfield like we had back in the 80s. We used to have Benchmark in the Plaza Hotel. We used to have Dimitri's. We used to have the Golden Mushroom. We used to have the place on that was owned by Pat Archer, the Excalibur. We need Baco. Thank you. I'm in support.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to this item? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Ms. Freeman, did you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, we don't have anything else to add. Thank you so much.
Council, any questions? Councilman Brightwell?
My only comment is that, Baco is a destination. And I know in reading the paper, when a lot of famous people are coming to town, they would always mention that they will be having lunch at Baco's, and I've frequented that several times over the years, and for special occasions, and it always lived up to why we went there, for good food and good environment, and so I'm supportive of this.
Councilman Banks?
I was just going to make a motion.
Okay.
That council approve a commercial rehab exemption certificate application for property located at 29410 Northwestern Highway.
Support.
Support.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Banks, supported by Councilwoman Hoag, to approve the commercial rehabilitation exemption certificate, PA 210 of 2005, as presented here this evening. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Who's he cooking for right now?
All right. Next is our next public hearing. Thank you.
Yeah.
When was that? When will that be?
Probably, we could have a phase open by the end of this year.
Oh, wow.
You can come
All right.
cook for me now.
All right, our next public hearing is for PCZR 25-0002, a request from GHG Detroit LLC to conditionally rezone 27600 Northwestern Highway from RMU Multiple Family High Rise to RS Regional Shopping.
Thank you, through the chair. I won't reiterate what you just said, but this conditional rezoning ties the rezoning to the court approval, lifting the consent judgment presently controlling use development of the site, as indicated here on the map. The current zoning is RM, proposed future use, regional mixed use, site aerial. There's an existing office building complex. And with that, I'd like to invite the petitioner to come up and make some comments. So it's a conditional rezoning from RMU Multiple Family High Rise to RS Regional Shopping.
Good evening. Hello, President, Council, Mayor. My name is Rebecca Lazarus, and I live at 7375 East Joy Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm here representing GHG Detroit LLC, which is better known as George Glassman Automotive. They're located at 28,000 Telegraph Road in Southfield. And on December 2nd of 2024, they entered into a purchase agreement with First Rivers Edge, the owners of the 27600 Northwestern Highway. The agreement was contingent upon obtaining a full release from a governing consent judgment, which you have supported, thank you very much, and passing inspections and normal due diligence, and rezoning the property from RMU, multiple family high-rise, to regional shopping, and that's why we're here tonight. And as you know, there are no changes that are planned currently or in the immediate future for this property, but because there are some leases that we're going to continue to honor. And in the future, if there's any changes that they would like to do, working with their dealerships, trying to expand their business here in Southfield, they would, of course, come to City Council and to the Planning Department and Planning Commission for the normal procedures and approvals that are required by zoning laws. So we're here to request the support of changing the zoning to RS.
Okay. So we will hold a, Mr. Crowe, did you want to?
I just want, again, I'll just put up the screen, the permitted uses and the special land uses that are tied in with your rezoning consideration, because any of these uses could come back under either permitted or special land use, but they would have to come back to council at that time.
Okay. So So we will hold the public hearing now for the PCZR 25-0002 to conditionally rezone 27600 Northwestern Highway from RMU Multiple Family Highways to RS Regional Shopping. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record.
Pamela Giro, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is still 248-346-0439. When I came to Southfield, that Northwestern Highway was a booming little strip of street that went from Telegraph all the way to Bell Road and then coming up to Lasser. I remember when Glassman had their Saab dealership. I remember when Chatham Grocery Store was there and all the other businesses. I remember when Copper Canyon came, opened up their restaurant, and it was just a thriving area. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like when Chatham closed, some of the life went out. And then Copper Canyon closed, and it was just, other than the car dealerships, it was like, why would you go down Northwestern Highway? And then here comes Rebecca with some of the things that she's done and that she's responsible for on Northwestern Highway, like the Korean market and the Korean, there's a couple of Korean places there, the restaurant and the market. I have yet to go into the Korean place, but I will. But every time she comes to this podium, I think the businesses that she represents, the projects that they want to do is very intentional, they're very purposeful, and I'm happy with the way Northwestern Highway looks now. If we could just get rid of those clothing boxes that are taking up parking spaces, that's changing the site plan because they've added those boxes, I think it would just be a much better look. But Miss Rebecca, thank you so much for all that you're doing to bring back that strip of Northwestern Highway back to life. And if we could just catch some of the people when they cross Telegraph and they veer to that right to go down Northwestern Highway, if we can catch some of those people that are littering. It drives me insane to see somebody come from Chick-fil-A and all the stuff that people did to get a Chick-fil-A in the parking lot, and they come from Chick-fil-A and throw the paper on the floor or on the ground right there on Northwestern Highway. The dealerships have done their due diligence to keep it clean. The Korean places, we got to stop the people from littering. But Miss Rebecca, thank you so much, and I'm definitely in favor of PCZR 25-0002. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak to this item? Right, seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Council, do you have any questions? Councilman Brightwell?
I will hitchhike on what Ms. Gerald said, and I know the representative here, and she's been very thorough with respect to the Korean market, and I feel that she comes to us with a very legitimate concern for the city and concern for her clients. So I will be supporting this. Thank you.
Council, any other questions, comments? Councilman Cruz?
Terry, can you just refresh my mind? I'm just trying to get to understand it. With the conditional rezoned, why is it conditional? And am I correct in saying that if anything doesn't happen there or whatnot, that it will revert back to what the original zoning was?
Yeah, so many years ago, the courts, the neighbors, the city supplemented the original zoning designations and came up with a complex number of uses that were approved. And slowly, we've been going through and trying to clean up that original consent agreement. Council earlier this year vacated the consent agreement. In this particular case, they're not removing any particular uses, but they do have some conditions, and that is recording the conditional rezoning agreement, approval and execution of the third vacation agreement, which council has already done. GHG or an affiliated entity closes on the purchase of the property, and then the property currently contains office building. So those are the conditions that they're asking for the council to approve. And if any of those are not satisfied, then it reverts back to its original zoning. So in this particular case, it's not a blank check rezoning from RMU to RS. It has these lists of conditions that have to be met, most of which have already been met through this process that the council's been going through with the vacation of the original consent agreement.
Okay, all right, sounds about right. Thank you.
Council, any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I move that we approve PCZR 25-0002 as presented.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilman Brightwell, supported by Councilman Cruz, to approve PCZR 25-0002 as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Mr. Brightwell.
I move that we introduce ordinance number 1811.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilman Brightwell, supported by Councilman Cruz, to introduce ordinance number 1811. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, our last public hearing this evening is PZR 25-0001 to rezone 21375 Telegraph Road from ODD back to the I-1 Industrial.
Yeah, through the chair, petitioners Virgo Commercial Properties LLC, properties located at 21375 Telegraph Road. This parcel was previously rezoned to Overlay Development District to try to accommodate a proposed Tesla repair facility, but the project did not go forward. And so in order for them to entertain this new business, they've requested to rezone back from ODD to I-1 Industrial, which allows manufacturing. So here's the site. It's kind of tucked in to the west. It's not really visible from Telegraph Road. There's a landscape contracting firm to the east, and frontage is Telegraph Road. So this is what you see from Telegraph Road, and it's the white building in the back. Existing building is about 36,000 square feet. There has been some improvements and an addition to the front of the building for office and customer space. Here's the floor plan. Building elevations are not changing very much on the exterior from what was previously upgraded. But with that, I've asked the petitioner to just give a very brief statement on what is being proposed for the facility and why it's important to have the industrial zoning.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Terry. My name is Vikram Nair from 9052 Cardwell Street in Livonia, 48150. So this was, as Terry mentioned, this was a ODD specifically for the Tesla project where it had a single use permit and which couldn't be used for anything else. Since the project didn't go through, we reached out and connected with multiple business investments that were ready to take over. One such proposed project is for a clean room development, wherein they're planning to implement the ADAS configuration for various automotive manufacturers in the region. So this is something new to us, and it is very beneficial in regards to the technology corridor, which is specifically addressed on the 8 Mile and Telegraph Road junction. So in that regards, we are attempting here to rezone it back to the I-1 Industrial 1, which assists in acknowledging an engagement with a technology partner. Essentially, the project will be a 30,000 square foot of clean room, assembly lines for chip and creation or basically development of computers or CPUs for the vehicle automotive ADAS systems. Any specific questions, please?
And this is consistent when council redesignated this Lower Telegraph Road to technology and research. This is the types of businesses that we envision, the new technology, the automotive chip, and they need these clean rooms that are dust-free in order to produce their products.
All right, so thank you. We will hold a public hearing and see if there's any questions or comments. So again, this is a public hearing for PZR 25-0001 to rezone 21375 Telegraph Road from ODD back to the I-1 Industrial. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. Please give your name and address for the record.
Okay, council, this is my last time. Pamela Gerald, P.O. Box 155, Southfield, Michigan, 48037-0155. My telephone number is 248-346-0439. It is always nice when we can get a business in a spot that has not been, I guess I would say, sellable in a million years. I'm happy to say I really didn't want Tesla here, and especially now. But I'm hoping, and you know that I'm always about a business being LEED certified, that this new petitioner would consider making this a very energy efficient building, making it LEED certified if that would be your desire. But I think the manufacturing aspect of it is great because it's tucked away, it's right behind the landscaping place. But thank you so much for bringing this business to the city. And I'm hoping with the jobs that will be available that you will consider employing Southfield residents and making the Southfield residents a part of your new interior machinery and manufacturing business. So if council approves this, I guess I would welcome you to the city, but just remember, be a good corporate citizen, support the community, and hire some Southfield people. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak to this item? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Council, do you have any questions?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move that we approve the request to rezone the parcel at 21375 Telegraph Road from ODD back to I-1 Industrial.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to approve PZR 25-0001 as presented with the recommendation of the Planning Department. Any other questions, Council? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move that we introduce ordinance 1812.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to introduce ordinance number 1812. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next, we move on to the council portion of our meeting.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move that we approve the two expense reports, one for Council Vice President Mr. Hicks, Councilwoman Haynes, both for the CapCon Lansing, Michigan Conference, March 18th through the 19th.
Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Banks, to approve the two travel expense reports for Councilman Hicks and Councilwoman Haynes as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And if council has any comments, we'll start with Councilwoman Hoag.
No comments, thank you.
Councilwoman Banks.
Thank you. I would just like to wish the city of Southfield a happy birthday. I believe it's today. We are 67 years old.
Wow.
It's so hard to believe. Southfield is a great community, and I want to thank everyone who lives here, works here, and all of my colleagues. So happy birthday, Southfield.
Don't you mean 67 years young?
Sure. What did I say, old? Old, I'm sorry, 67, whatever.
Is that all you have?
That's all, thank
All
you.
right. Councilman Hicks?
Nothing, sir.
Councilman Cruz?
Nothing for me today.
Councilwoman Haynes?
Yes, I have a list of things. First of all, I failed to mention last time, I want to congratulate our city employees, Rochelle Freeman and Molly Lalone. I think it's been, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Oakland Thrive presented an award to Shelley and Molly for going the distance and supporting businesses and doing pretty good here in the city with economic development, and also Molly with the DDA, and also the chamber was involved with that. And the city did receive a blinking light medal, was it a medal, certificate, not certificate, but award. It was really nice, and it was put on by Oakland Thrive, which does a lot in the city of Southfield, with Tracy Williams being the representative for Southfield. And I think that was such a great honor to show that they collaborated and worked together to bring businesses here and to acknowledge and support businesses here in the city of Southfield. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to attend with my granddaughter and my family to Touch a Truck, which was amazing. It was so much fun. There were people all over. There was a 1 hour time where it was acknowledging kids with sensory perceptions to noise. And, you know, I understand that about noise, like banging on podiums and things. But, you know, I understand how that noise can bother people. But, yes, that was really such a nice experience. And kudos to the Parks and Recs, the Southfield Library, the Southfield Police Department, the Michigan State Police, the fire department. The kids got hats, and Ron from Eagle Landscaping, he was hilarious. The kids had the reflective vests. It was, I mean, it was a winner. Everybody was trying to get one of those vests for their kids. And it was funny because he said he had never heard of this program before. So he will be participating in that. And just even saying that, I would like for all of our residents to be aware of the things that we have, and let your family and friends know. People just had a good time being here in the city of Southfield. It was so much fun. There was no disturbance, no problems, and I say that because it's so important. You know, you see so many things going on in the world, but it's just so nice to be able to bring your family out and have a good time. There were lots of other companies that I won't mention, but you can look it up. And because it's so long, I don't want to just go on and on. But our city service people were just great in handling things, and the dogs and the mini drone. It was just great. So I'll move on from that. Also, if you have any kids, Oakland County has jobs coming up. And from June to August, there are summer jobs. And I saw this online, $20 an hour. Wow, I wasn't making that when I was a kid, but times have changed. So there are lifeguard jobs, water park attendants. Please spread the word about that. That is, they're looking for people for those jobs. You can go to the Oakland County website. And also on May the 30th, there's a native plant event, and the closest one will be to us at the Oakland Farmers Market, where they will be giving out native plants, which is really, really, really cool and nice. If you're into gardening, or even if you want to just grow some and share them, just really nice to have Michigan plants. Just look on the Oakland County website for that as well. And the Friends book sale this time, it'll be May the 7th through the 10th. The time varies, so look at the Southfield Public Library for that. And today is also National Superhero Day. And I was going to wear a costume, but I thought I'd be looking a little odd up here with a costume by myself, so maybe next year we can wear a costume of our favorite superhero. But I just want to acknowledge some of our city favorite superheroes, like the people that were out yesterday, the policemen, the firemen, and these are our superheroes. You can have both fictional and real-life superheroes, and I think those are the people that are important in time of need when there are problems and things that go on. We have the fire, the police, and even our city people that are volunteering out in the area, helping to make sure traffic is well. These are important things. Just want to say thank you to them for that and just to acknowledge that. So that's just pretty much all. I do have one thing I want to bring up. There was a concern from a resident that came forth about the contractor on the list that she had some problems with. I would like to find out later if we can address this issue of how a person gets on that list and how we can take care of possibly what's the way we can remove people that do not adhere to the standards of Southfield, because that was a very deep concern to me, and I think it's very important that we are careful when we put our name or recommend someone for doing a job, and that really kind of bothered me when we saw that. So I would like that to be addressed at a further date, but I just wanted to make that public. Thank you.
Councilman Brightwell?
Yes, I too was at the Church of Truck yesterday, and I thought it was a wonderful event, and I was amazed with our number of kids there, and the kids were ecstatic, really. But in addition to what Ms. Haynes mentioned, I learned something yesterday, and there's an old management guru that used to say, they call it process management by wandering around. And just so happened our dogs were there with the police department, and I happened to chat with the handlers, and the truck was running. I had to ask them, how do you keep your animal satisfied? And they have an app. They have an app that's on their phone that while that dog is in the back of the truck, they can get the temperature in the back of the truck, the amount of water that the dogs are consuming or need, and that the back of that canine truck is it lives better than some human beings that I know, and so the officer explained that to me, and he showed me the app. So that was, refreshing to me, and just from a humane society, and or just from an individual who cares about animals, that was refreshing to my mind. But that was a very nice event, and just even the most participants, they had a smile on their face because of the joy that was in the faces of the individuals there. And the other item I wanted to just comment on, and I mentioned this to the mayor, my dentist, she happened to be here one day paying her taxes, and I happened to be in her chair the other day also, and she told me she was just how the lobby looked so well and looked so nice, and I told her that it's a rotating process. I gave her a little history of it, but I just wanted to share with the mayor that and you could share it with your art commission, that the lobby is paying dividends for the residents, because they appreciate things. And I do remember, and I guess I've been around just long enough to indicate that lobby was nondescript. It was, you could walk in here, and I've gotten comments from the residents of, we would, it was just, it was in sad shape. So, but obviously that has been taken care of, and we are getting comments, positive comments. And the other thing I want to talk about is just for the veterans. I mentioned it last week. The first Monday of every month, there's legal services for veterans. Legal services that deals with everything that might come under the concept of legal services, and it's being taken care of here in in our Human Services Department. So when you come into the lobby, just either, there's a phone there, if they move the Human Service Department, but someone will be able to take care of you. And or contact me, and I can obviously give you the actual place to go to up on the second floor. But the Human Service Department now, they can arrange, they can, the legal services people are working through our Human Services Department. And there's a list of items for the veterans that might be dealing with. It could be dealing with divorces, expungement, getting your license back, and also VA benefits. So that's the first Monday of every month in our Human Services Department here in this building. You can contact me and or contact our Human Services Department by way of just calling our central number. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. I too was at the Touch a Truck. I was going to try to get there for sensitivity hour, but did not. And as soon as I walked out of my car, I was upset that I forgot my earplugs. When you have fire trucks, police cars, sirens going all at the same time with kids honking those horns of the big tow trucks and everything else, it is quite loud, but it was definitely a fun event. A couple other fun free events that are coming up is this Saturday is a free sports day that will take place in the Civic Center Park for a bunch of for kids, starting at 10 a.m. Different sports at different times. Please see the Parks and Rec Department for more information. The information is also on our website. They do encourage pre-registration to reserve your spot. Parks and Rec can be reached at 248-796-4620. Also, Parks and Rec is hosting next week Bike Safety Night on May 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 in front of the Parks and Rec building. They are giving out free bicycle helmets. They will have, you could bring your bike to get safety checked. You can learn about bike safety from the Southfield Police Department, and if you participate in all the different events and stations, you can be entered in to win a brand new bike. So again, that is May 6th on Tuesday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Last announcement is that the Southfield Public Works has launched a Name the Plow Truck contest. So the information can be found again on the city's website. Residents are encouraged to submit a unique name. There's a link by May 9th, and the selected names will serve as inspiration for a collaborative project with students from Southfield A&T and Southfield University Academy, who will actually paint the snowplow to reflect the winning name. And then, of course, winners will receive some additional kudos and recognition. So if you can take a look at the city's website for the link to name a snowplow, I think that would be great. With that, I will turn it over to the mayor.
Well, good evening, and just a comment that on Saturday we had disappointing weather because we've had beautiful days Friday and Sunday, but nonetheless, it didn't stop about 100 bike riders coming to Southfield, and it was great to see them on our bike paths. Where we've have installed bike paths in the city. So this was a fundraiser for Fair Housing of Michigan, and we were the host. I want to also thank the police department as they came out and some of the officers rode with the cyclists, as well as the other officers blocking intersections where the riders had to cross. It was really a great event despite the wind and chilly temperatures. And then to respond to Councilman Brightwell, thank you for your comments. The current exhibit will conclude this week, and starting next week, as we've made this a very diverse gallery, next week we'll be featuring, and for the next 3 months, we'll be featuring Chaldean artists for the first time. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you.
When is that present?
Mr. Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 items I'm asking for action on this evening. The first is we were approached by Oakland County Board of Commissioners, in particular County Commissioner Yolanda Charles Smith, for an opportunity to apply for a grant up to $10,000 for sponsorship of the city's corporate challenge program. So I've attached a resolution that I'm asking council to adopt, that council does hereby authorize the city of Southfield to apply for FY Oakland County Board of Commissioners General Fund Special Event Sponsorship for the 9th Annual 2025 City of Southfield Community Cup Challenge. And, you know, the Community Cup Challenge has really turned into a neat event, and we're in our 9th year of doing it. If you go down to Campus Martius, all of the corporate entities in downtown Detroit are doing this, and as we focus on placemaking and helping strengthen what our corporate citizens do, that outlet for a lot of the younger employees in those companies is incredibly valuable. And when it first started, we weren't sure how it was going to go. I remember Ms. Freeman and I, we happened to be at a meeting. We were chasing the Amazon deal at the time, and we had come out into Campus Martius, and we were watching the events, and it's really come into its own. And you look at what we do, we have competitive events, trivial, there's usually a community event. You know, last year they painted the fence in Bedford Woods Park. There's usually community cleanup. So that's the action I'm asking tonight then, is council adopt a resolution authorizing us to apply for these funds.
Mr. President?
Yes.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilman Hicks, to apply for the Oakland County grant of $10,000 for the Business Development Community Cup Challenge as presented. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Again, the second item I have, which I'm requesting action on, is that council award the bid to Major Cement of Detroit, Michigan for the construction of a 50-foot wide stamped promenade across the front lawn from Evergreen to the front circle in the approved amount of $313,907 with a 20% contingency for an amount of $376,688.40. And that it be further resolved that the funding for this project will be made available from the general fund infrastructure reserve through a budget adjustment increasing support service land improvement account by 376, that should be a comma, $376,688.40 with the corresponding increase in the use of designated fund balance. I'm asking council to adopt that resolution. If council will recall, and you do have a schematic in front of you that was prepared by Abdul Siddiqui, who also worked with us in Parks and Rec and Planning. This was the concept that was originally presented as part of a grant request. And unfortunately, the full grant amount was not funded, but we're requesting authorization just to put the 50-foot stamped promenade from Evergreen up to the front circle. That will create a hard surface that will be ADA accessible, give places for the food trucks, the vendors, the portable stage to be set up on. Terry, can you bring up the next slide? The next slide.
That's the only one
That's the only
I
one?
had.
All right.
Yeah.
In your packet, you had a cross-section showing you there, and I believe Abdul is in the audience if there are any additional questions. We are working with the Sun Pipeline. The goal is to get this complete by Memorial Day, so it'll be up and running. We've had, obviously our signature event is the Kimmy Horn concert, and the last couple summers, every other Friday night, the concerts that have taken place on the front lawn, they are very much part of the Southfield culture, just showing that we're a great place to live and work. So,
If I could, through the chair, Mr. Zorn. I mean, this has been in the planning for over 10 years. When Evergreen Road was rebranded and rebuilt, we put the mid-block crossing in at the time, anticipating that this promenade would connect to the front of City Hall and then eventually connect to the Middle Point development, which recently got the transformational brownfield. So this has been kind of on the books for over a decade. This brings us one step closer to what Mr. Zorn said about making the front lawn more accessible and providing for pedestrian connectivity to the mixed-use development across the street.
Councilman Brightwell?
Yeah. Mr. Zorn, you mentioned the pipeline, but can you, is the pipeline, are we clear from that? Have we really made it, did everything we can to make sure that we are not interfering with that?
The issue we had with the pipeline was the trees that were on top of it. That easement is 50 feet in width, and the tree roots were the issue we had with the pipeline, and we had to remove the trees because of the depth that and the trees going into the pipeline. There can be other plant materials, and the pipeline actually is under a substantial amount of parking lot. But because there's nothing growing into it, we're working our way through those issues. But we feel confident that we're going to get the nod from the pipeline.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to add there, so we have reached out to the pipeline. They're okay with what we're proposing. They're just asking us to give them some advance notice. They'd like to have an inspector on site when the work is being done.
Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Banks?
Thank you. The tree that's out there, is it evergreen? What's going to happen to that? That's like right in the middle. Or are we going to go around it?
The intent is it gets removed. The pine tree.
Can we move it somewhere else?
We will investigate whether or not that can be spaded. I will share with you with prior experience on Telegraph Road years ago. We lost the majority of what we spaded and put onto a golf course, but we will certainly look into it.
Or can we pave around it and keep it there? Is that a thought?
Well, the goal is to be able to move the food trucks and, that they could be put on this. And that trailer that we have for our stage is a good size structure. I'm not sure if the tree, we want to be able to move people and vehicles. This is being built with enough aggregate base as well as concrete that it'll be able to support, it's functioning like a street in a sense. But for food trucks, the stage, and then the people walking up during events.
And that was going to be my next question. Is it going to be thick enough, for example, the stage, which is very large, and I'm assuming there's a weight restriction?
Yeah, and we've designed the pavement section accordingly. So it's Initially, we went with 6 inches of concrete over 6 inches of ag base. We've thickened that a little bit now, so it's 7 inches of concrete over 8 inches of aggregate base. So,
If I could, through the chair, that holiday tree was moved not too long ago.
Right.
And the plan does accommodate a new location for it.
Thank you. I would just hate to lose it. It's a very beautiful tree. We've lost so many other ones. That's all, thank you.
All right, so I had 2 quick questions. In the schematic, we're just talking about building the pathway straight down the
Center.
the center of the, we're not talking about the diagonal
Right.
lines
Just,
either?
it's just the east-west promenade at this point.
And just going up to the circle, not going
Not across
through the
the
circle, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And
So-
in what went out in your packets, that was the drawing that we included.
Okay. And then my other question is, because we're going to be doing work there, we have the, off of, right by Evergreen and the sidewalk, we have the City of Southfield marquee that flashes messages. We know there's drainage issues there. Is that going to be addressed at all?
I did discuss that with the contractor. They're willing to do a little bit. What we're thinking is to maybe extend a few, because there's a low point right in that area. There's a couple catch basins. We're thinking to extend maybe 5 to 10 feet of under drain, in that direction, so that it could help the drainage, but nothing extensive. If we need to regrade, do a little ditching or so, we can get our DPW staff out there to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Abdul, could you talk about the edge draining, tying it into the storm system, and then the conduit that we'll be putting under it for future?
Right, so there'll be edge drains on both sides of the promenade, and there'll be, generally the topology is such that it's going down from the front circle towards Evergreen is the drainage. So the edge drains will just tie into the catch basins near Evergreen, and then we'll have a conduit for future electrical service down the middle of the promenade, with services branching off of it and then being stubbed off at the surface level for future, maybe bollard lighting or so, that then the food trucks can plug into.
Okay. Thank you. Council, any other questions?
That's it.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr.
Anyone?
President,
Yes.
I move that we approve and award the bid to Major Cement of Detroit for the construction of a 50-foot wide promenade across the front line in amount of just over $313,000 plus a 20% contingency, with the funds coming from the general fund building infrastructure reserve. Support.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Hoag, supported by Councilwoman Haynes, to approve the front lawn promenade design bids as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Mitch?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President, for that support. 2 quick items. Last Saturday, household hazardous waste, we had 707 cars go through from Southfield. Very pleased. We're not quite up to what our pandemic limits are, but in the last 3 years, that's the best number. So, that's stuff that's not going into landfills and is being disposed of properly. Then the mayor, Planner Crode made a comment to Middle Point. Last week, the city had kind of the crescendo on a very long project. Some of you will recall when we bought the property across the street. They were looking at subdividing it into 4 outlots for basically fast food drive-through. And we acquired it, we worked with our planning department, came out, retained Hamilton Anderson, came out with a concept design, we marketed that design, and it's been a very long journey. But we accomplished something that few communities in the state have, and that is we got one of the transformational brownfield plans and a commitment of $131 million to that project. And we'll see ground break later this summer. And it's been a long journey. We had the council Middle Point. Councilman Hoag was with us on that. Councilman Mandelbaum and Councilman Cruz, Planner Crow, the mayor, Shelley Freeman, John McRena, Austin Michaels, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few people. But we met monthly on it. Ms. Freeman and myself and our consultants, Grant Williams from Millard Canfield and Jeremy McAllen, we were on weekly calls with the state. But the Michigan Strategic Fund approved it last Tuesday, and it's quite an accomplishment. I'd be remiss not to thank our Senator Jeremy Moss, and particular former councilman and now state rep Jason Hoskins, who chaired the committee that helped us get the law changed to make that happen, so a city our size would be eligible for those dollars. So it's taken a lot to get there, but we're gotten there, and I cannot wait for that first shovel to be moved and see something going vertical. As Planner Crowd always says, is when it goes up, that's what people it really catches their attention. So thank you for your patience on that, and I think we should be very proud to capture those types of dollars coming into the Southfield economy. Although they're not coming into our coffers, but those are monies that normally would be going to other places in the state. They're coming to Southfield, so I'm very pleased with that, what we've been able to accomplish. And thank you for your support on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dawn King was in all those meetings and calls too. I'm sorry.
All right. Madam Attorney?
With that, council, I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Nothing for me this evening, thank you.
All right. Mr. Planner, anything?
Yeah, I just want to echo that I started here in August of 2010, and those buildings had just been torn down that summer. So it's been a 15-year journey working with all of you and all the departments. Also, I wanted to share a comment. It was around 2016 that we were finalizing Evergreen Road, and just as recently as last week, we were meeting with a developer broker who hadn't been here in quite some, before Evergreen was converted from 7 lanes and flooding to what it looks like today. And those are always very positive affirmations when someone says, I haven't been here in a while, and I come to the Southfield and I come to Evergreen, and I was blown away by what you have guys done. And sometimes it just takes determination to keep moving the ball down the field. And Middle Point is a culmination of a lot of work that everyone's done. And I am truly waiting for that first shovel to hit the ground and the first steel to go up for that project. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
I mean, you don't miss the sign on Evergreen when a water over road?
Yeah, water over the road.
All right. I will ask, since he's stuck out the whole meeting, our Director of Public Works, do you have anything you'd like to share this evening? Okay. We have nothing to schedule, just another quick public service announcement. We talked up here about a lot of the great events that are happening in the city. Our cable department has been at many of those, and there's little YouTube shorts that are out there on all the great happenings in the city. So take a look at our YouTube channel. You can see some of the highlights of those events.
Actually, I will say something. We do have Public Works Week coming up, and there's going to be, you all mentioned the Touch a Truck event. We're going to have a Public Works open house where also one day, I believe a Friday, I don't have the exact date with me here right now, but the Friday will be open to employees and city staff, and then Saturday will be open to the public. Children, everyone can come to the DPW yard, see what we do, see our equipment, and yeah, it should be a good time.
Do you know that date? What was that date again?
I want to say, it's going to be the 23rd and 24th of May.
Okay. Thank you. All right, seeing nothing else, our meeting is adjourned.